Hey, so I am working on my carburetors today, and these are a set of 1978 Honda cb750 carbs. As you can see, there's 4 of them, and right now I have a problem. The carbs are actually leaking. They're leaking on the engine. When put on the engine, they will leak out of the float bowls through the drain tube, and that I figure typically it's a result of your gas line valve, and or the don't exactly know the name of it, so I'm gonna call it the float valve. The floats are actually these pieces, if you don't know. I figure people who are watching this are probably working on these carburetors themselves, and I know how frustrating it is when you can't find anything on the things that you're working on. So anyways, figured I could help somebody while I'm doing this, so videotape it and do it and show you how to do it. What I'm doing is stopping that leak, because what's happening is these floats, just like in a toilet, right? They float when the gasoline gets to a certain level, and then they press down on this float valve to cut off the flow of gas into the bowl, the bowls here. This is a bowl, and here's the drain tube. So these will rise as the level of the gasoline gets higher and stop the flow. And if you didn't have this, your carbs would just gush, right? Because the fuel just comes in and just goes up the drain tubes. Anyways, so the problem with these old carburetors is that they don't want to, the float valves, they don't want to hold the gas back, and typically they'll just be dirty. So what you want to do, one idea that you can do, well, you could go buy a whole new set for a lot of money, but I prefer not to do that. I like to save money wherever I can. So the idea here is to clean off the tips and to clean off the brass which they seat up against. And so the way that you do that is you use toothpaste. Toothpaste is pretty much sandpaper in liquid form, and it's the finest that you can get. So what you do is you go grab some toothpaste, and here I have some Crest whitening. Really, it's the baking soda in the toothpaste. You see, this one has baking soda. Anyways, so open it up, and you grab your float bowl valve, and you just dip it in there, a tiny bit on the end. And yeah, so now you have where am I? There I am. Now you have a tiny bit on the end of your float bowl valve. Put your lid back on your toothpaste. Always take your time and make sure you do things right. So you got your float bowl valve, stick it in its place, and then with some needle nose pliers, you grab the tip of it very gently. You don't want to bend anything or break anything, and you just twist it back and forth. If you can, spin it in 360. That's best, because then you get the full surface, but I can really only do 180. Anyway, so you spin it back and forth as much as you want. It doesn't really matter. And what this is doing is the toothpaste is rubbing up against the brass and the rubber tip of the float valve, and this is actually making the mesh into one piece. Mesh perfectly. An example of this, if you know much about valves, is you can buy this. It's like toothpaste for valves. It's like very rough, and you just dab it on your valve, and then you spin the valve, and then the valve seats perfectly after doing that. This is the same thing, just with a fine powder, dirt cheap. Everybody typically has it. If you don't, you're gonna spend a lot more money in dentists' teeth repair. But anyways, a whole different subject. So anyways, yeah, you get the idea. Do that for each one and rinse it off. Just flush some gas through it. If you have a compressor, blow a bunch of air through it. Get all the rest of the toothpaste out, the residue, and it should seat properly. You know, of course, there's a gazillion and one different cases. None of them are the same. And so this is just, you know, doing this, so filmed it, and I hope it helps. Good luck.